The last poem, the last video in this poetry series, we talked about how I thought that there were some critics that were really inserting, no pun intended, homoeroticism into a poem by Walt Whitman. I didn't think really that that was necessarily in the poem, but now in this poem, there's not any, there's really not a whole lot of, there's some homoeroticism in this poem. Welcome to Strip Coverlet, where we squeeze the bigger picture out of literature. I'm Adrian Ford, and we are here for another poetry discussion, which will appear in 3 separate playlists here on the channel. Number 1 being the poetry discussion playlist, number 2, the Walt Whitman playlist, and number 3, a verse-by-verse read-along through Song of Myself by Walt Whitman. The poem in question today is the 12th verse in the epic poem by Walt Whitman. The poem in question, verse 12, reads as such. The butcher boy puts off his killing clothes, or sharpens his knife at the stall in the market. I loiter, enjoying his repartee, and his shuffle and breakdown. Blacksmiths with grimed and hairy chests environ the anvil. Each has his main sledge. They are all out. There is a great heat in the fire. From the cinder-strewed threshold, I follow their movements. The lithe sheer of their waists plays even with their massive arms. Overhand the hammers swing, overhand so slow, overhand so sure. They do not hasten. Each man hits his place. I doubt I particularly have to delve in to the eroticism that could be in this poem. It's pretty obvious, really, if you dare to read the poem with such, but I do want to make it clear our speaker has no gender. Our speaker could be a woman. Our speaker could be some ethereal being that has no place in this universe. Our speaker could be an alien. Our speaker does not have a gender in this poem. Which begs the question, the next question is, what is masculine? I think that there is some sort of feeling from this poem that it is masculine. If it's not sexuality being praised, being admired here, then it is at least masculinity. So what is masculine in this poem? Is it the muscles? Is it the killing clothes? The hairy chests? What is it here that is masculine? I think the question has to be raised. There is indelibly from this poem some sense of the masculine. What is it that gives us that sense? I think to answer that question, we have to dive a little bit deeper. There are 2 professions being shown here. There are the butchers, a butcher, and the blacksmiths, a line of blacksmiths. Traditionally, these are very masculine jobs. Traditionally, these are positions held by men. In these positions, with these jobs, if you were to close your eyes and think of a blacksmith, if you were to close your eyes and think of a butcher, not only are you more than likely to be imagining a man, probably it's a pretty burly guy. Why is that? Well, the muscles that are being admired or at least pointed out in this poem are a byproduct of that work. So we're brought back to work. Is it the form which is admired in this poem that is masculine? Or is it the work? We are brought back to the work by the tools we have that are shown to us in this poem. The knife, his knife. Where are we at here? Give me one moment. Overhand the hammer's swing. The hammer here. These are both tools of work for the jobs in question. They are both, in their own ways, phallic. They are also, however, technology. We don't think of knives as technology. We don't think of hammers as technology. We think of them as tools, but tools are themselves definitionally technology. If you were to take a hammer back to the Stone Age, the guy with the hammer would win. If you were to take a knife back to the Stone Age, the guy with the knife would win. You could take a knife back to the Iron Age. The guy with the knife would probably win. They did not have the technology of steel. Technology is what separates us from the animal kingdom, right? It's technology. You don't see too many flamingos running around with iPhones. You don't see terribly many inventions out of the squirrel community. I will have no arguments here about furries. You can get straight off my page. You know who you are. Anyway, humankind defined by technology. There's even a mention of fire in this poem with the blacksmiths there. There is a great heat in the fire. But therein we have another double entendre, don't we? We have great heat in the fire. All around, the images of work, the mentions of work, are confused or intermingled with admiration and or sexuality and or both of them. What is it to be attracted to someone if not a type of admiration? So I think what we're really looking at here is that one of the tropes of literature, and therefore is kind of a trope of humankind, kind of a trope of the human experience, is that one of the defining articles of masculinity is being good at one's job. The butcher boy puts off his killing clothes. Butcher boy and killing clothes, both hyphenated. Both phrases are one with each other. We have down here with the blacksmiths, grimed and hairy-chested. Great heat in the fire. The admiration and the sexuality intermingled in these lines. The lithe sheer of their waists plays even with their massive arms. That is admiration, if not an attraction, if not a lustful phrase. Overhand hammers swing. Overhand so slow. Overhand so sure. A phrase that is not unlike pumping, right? So I think that even if, so again, the speaker has no gender. No gender is mentioned for our speaker here. So there is at least sexuality at play here, if not eroticism, if not homoeroticism, as is often the talking point with Walt Whitman. But all of that comes back to the job. These men are all being admired for what it is that they are doing at work, for the part that they are playing in civilization, for the extent to which they can wield technology. It is a usefulness that is necessitated from the masculine to be lusted after. That is all I have for this poetry discussion. If you like or appreciate what it is I do on this channel, hitting the like button really does help me out, as it tells YouTube to share this video with other literature lovers. And if you find yourself here by chance but not design, literature is the only thing I talk about on this channel. Dropping multiple videos every single week. There's poetry every Monday, and I hope to have you back for the next one.